Hey guys, this is Mac again. Today I got vlog number 4. Today we're talking about tips for practicing 3-gun. And today we're going to talk about shotgun tips. So the reason why I want to do this video first is because shotgun is the part of 3-gun that comes most naturally to me. It's the one that I have the most experience with. So hopefully I can give you a couple of easy tips for how you practice and how you shoot your stages with your shotgun. Help you get better, because most people are very intimidated by the shotgun portion. It's probably the most unnatural for most people who either came through shooting USPSA first or maybe have shot a rifle their entire life, or maybe you're law enforcement or military and you're used to the AR platform. Not a lot of people are really familiar with tactical shotguns, so it does have the biggest learning curve in my opinion. Not only because loading the shotgun is very difficult and there is quite a bit of, as they say, tricks to the trade, but also because you would think with it being a scatter gun that it would be very easy to hit your targets because the pattern of the bird shot gets really big, but it's actually very easy to miss those little targets. So here are just a couple of things that I think about when I practice for shotgun and 3-gun. And let's pretend, you know, that you're practicing on a budget, because this is typically how I have to practice. My practice time is very limited and my resources are very limited. So anytime I go out to practice rifle, pistol, or shotgun, I'm basically trying to cram the most high quality practice into the shortest amount of time with the least amount of cost. So I actually went out and practiced at the farm a couple weekends ago, and I just took some footage of what I was doing to practice. So specifically talking about cost, went down to Walmart. I was actually in there for something else, happened to wander through the sporting goods section, and they had the Federal 4-packs or 100 rounds, 4 boxes of 25 shells on sale for like $19.97 or something. So that's less than $5 a box for shotgun shells, which is really, really cheap. So I picked up a few of those. Decided this day that I was going to practice. Basically my practice session was going to be one of those 100 round packs. So that's 20 bucks, we'll just say. And then also I think that you can get almost all of your shotgun practice done target wise just by picking up a box of clays, because you can use clays in many different ways. The way that I use them are actually static, because I've shot sporting clays and skeet so long that I don't really practice that a whole lot anymore. So a box of clays for the 90, a pack of the white flyers or whatever they're called, is like $5-6 bucks. So this practice session I'm out of pocket about $25-26 bucks. Okay, so here are my top 4 tips for practicing shotgun on a budget and to get better at the shotgun portion in the least amount of time for 3-gun. Number 1, reloading is the most important thing when it comes to tactical shotgun and 3-gun. Everybody knows that. If you can only spend your time doing one thing for shotgun, practice your reloads. Number 1, you don't spend any money. You're not shooting your shotgun, so you can do it actually inside your house or in your garage, as long as you do it safely. And you are going to get more bang for your buck for your time and effort for practicing reloading your shotgun. We've all been there. We've all seen the guy who's first time out at 3-gun, fumbling shells everywhere, picking shells out of his pockets, because he doesn't realize how important reloading the shotgun is. So you need to figure out what system, number 1, equipment wise, what kind of caddy system, and number 2, what kind of reload system you like. Me personally, I use the dropping deuces method, or the load 2. I also dabble a little bit with dropping quads. It's harder for me. I just don't practice it enough, and I feel like I'm good enough at dropping deuces that the incremental increase in time that I would get from dropping quads versus the fumble factor for me is really not worth it at this time. So my caddies that I have are TACCOM caddies. They're 8-ups. They're meant as quad load caddies, but I can pull 2 off of there really easily, and they also are very compact, so they keep the shells in a very small amount of space on my belt, because I'm a kind of a small guy. I wear like a 32 size belt, so I start running out of space on my double alpha tactical belt. So reloading and practicing reloading, if you have a timer or if you have an app for your iPhone or whatever phone you have, putting a little bit of stress into your practice and making yourself try to get those reloads in a certain amount of time really helps and makes you better. You need to start out probably off the timer and just get the actual muscle memory of getting the gun up on your shoulder or flipping it over, however you want to do it, and getting the shells in the gun. And once you get the actual motion down, then sort of speeding it up with the timer. So just start out at 1 shell per second. If you're going to do 8, start out with a par time of 8 seconds. Everybody should be able to hit that, dropping deuces or dropping quads. Then take a second off, then get down to where you're really trying to smoke it. You're really trying to get like 8 shells in 4 or 3.5 or even 3 seconds if you're really good. So reloading technique, I think, is where you need to spend a lot of your time practicing, because any good match, any big match, is going to force you to reload your shotgun. There's a fair amount of tactics and stage planning that go along with reloading, and this brings me to my second point, and that's equipment. The size of your magazine extension is very important, and I actually learned this tip from Jesse Tischhauser, and he said put the longest extension on there that you can, a 12-shot extension. And at first when I was getting in 3-gun, I thought those things looked stupid. You know, I didn't want something sticking out past the end of my barrel, you know, looked retarded. But I found out shooting matches, and I found out from that advice, and after I read it and thought about it a while, that there's actually a lot of common sense and a lot of very intelligent thought to that tip. Number one, because 12 shots will get you through almost any shotgun stage, and if you can start out the stage with 12 in the gun, you can't. You're gonna have to put 4 in after the buzzer sounds. But if you can start out your string of shotgun targets with 12 in the gun and not have to mix in a reload anywhere, that is a big advantage. And most of the time, as you're retrieving your shotgun out of a barrel or off of a table or however, it's already going to be easy for you to reload it or add the 4 shells after the buzzer anyway. You're not going to have to drop it from your shoulder and get it up. You just take it off the table, you throw 4 shells in it, and then you power through those targets. So that's a really good tip, and something that you can't do unless you have a big extension. So that's why I'm using, it's actually a +9 Nordic extension on my Benelli now for a total of 12 shots in the tube. And that really impacts your stage planning. I think stage planning is a very underappreciated part of 3-gun. A lot of people either just show up at the match and shoot. You know, they don't take the time to plan ahead of time, get the stages off the internet, and sit down and really think about how to plan a stage. It's something I do before every match, and plan out where my reload is going to be, how I'm going to reload, if I'm going to drop deuces in there, or if I'm just going to pull one off my belt and weak hand it. You gotta have some versatility there. So stage planning, that's important. Next tip is the importance of actually hitting what you're shooting at. That sounds counterintuitive, right? Aren't you supposed to try to hit every target you shoot? But it's really easy to miss those things. Like I was saying before, when you're powering through these little 4 or 6 inch clays or whatever they are, or maybe they're poppers, you know, steel poppers, even though that pattern is this big, it is really easy to miss those things. So just for beginners, you know, you should take the time and aim on every single target and make sure that you hit, because the penalty of missing some of these shotgun targets is having to work in another reload, and there's no time suck bigger than reloading your shotgun. So most people who plan stages usually plan them around somebody going 1 for 1 on their shotgun targets. And if you can take your loaded shotgun and hit everything you shoot at and not have to reload on a stage, that is a huge plus. So the importance of hitting everything you shoot at, I can't overstate enough. To the point that if you need to slow down and shoot a little bit slower to make sure that you hit everything, it's really worth doing that. The next tip is the importance of choke selection. So typically what I do when I go to a match, I take all of my Benelli chokes with me, but I really only ever use 2. Basically a light modified, which is a really good all-around choke for near to far. It's got a pretty good range out to probably 30-35 yards if I had to guess. And then also I used an improved cylinder a lot. I started out using cylinder or like a skeet choke, a really wide open choke, and I noticed that I was hitting a lot of steel targets but not knocking them down, because I basically wasn't getting enough of the bird shot into the small enough area. It's too wide of a choke. So I found out through my experience that improved cylinder is the most wide open choke that I use in my shotgun. And it's a good all-around choke too, but you're not going to be, you know, like hitting any across the bay steel targets and knocking them down with an improved cylinder. So you need to have the versatility of having a tighter choke. And the unwritten rule is that you choke for your most difficult target or your farthest target away. So if you got a cross bay target over there that you need a light mod to hit, so you're going to basically have to choke with light mod for that stage, regardless of how close all the other targets are. And basically I can get through almost any match with those two chokes. I carry all the rest, modified, cylinder. I think I've even got a full, but I've never used it. Just that, you know, I've shot shotgun long enough that I kind of know how far a target is for how I need to choke, and that's from shooting sporting clays. Choking is really important in sporting clays. So go out and practice and know where your choke's limitations are, and then after you kind of have the experience of shooting a few matches, you'll understand like what choke you need to knock down certain types of steel targets, etc., etc. And then the last tip that I have, and one that may not apply all the time, is knowing where your slugs hit, or having them sighted in or zeroed for your particular shotgun. A lot of matches don't even include slug targets, but the matches that I shoot in Atlanta at the NOVESKE 3-gun typically do include some slug targets. So don't assume that when you put a slug in your shotgun that you're gonna be hitting right where you aim at like 50 or 100 yards, because anything that impacts the way that barrel and the stress that's on it, including basically the clamp that's on your magazine tube, is going to shift the impact of that slug. And to some other certain extent, it might be affected by whatever choke you have in the gun. So before a match, you need to go out and shoot the slugs that you're going to shoot in competition, and you need to know where they're going to hit. Because the first time that I ever zeroed my previous shotgun with slugs, I was basically hitting low right every time. So I knew if I had a torso-sized target to aim up at the left shoulder. Yeah, I was hitting low right, aim at the left shoulder, and it worked for me. And I actually went basically 1 for 1 in the slug targets in the previous big match that I shot last year, and almost won. I thought actually I won the shotgun side match, which had a slug target at 50 yards, and I was basically aiming at the left shoulder, and I finally hit it. I was shooting so fast it was really hard to hit it, but anyway, somebody shot it faster than me, so I didn't win, so whatever. But anyway, a lot of people don't know that you need to zero your shotgun for your slugs. So keep those tips in mind. Those are the most important things. As far as what you've been seeing from me practicing, I find that if I use clay targets, and I basically set up 6, which is kind of like a plate rack, or it simulates, you know, shooting 6 targets in rapid succession. If I can practice those skills and also practice while reloading and while moving, that's basically a wide array of the skills that I will need for the shotgun portion of any 3-gun stage. And so this is basically how I practice. I use clays. I put them on little stands that I got from Academy Sports, clay holders. They're pretty resilient. They can stand up to being pounded by birdshot over and over. And I just practice these different things: movement, reloading while I'm moving, reloading in between shots. You see me do something real similar to like a load 12 drill that Keith Garcia came up with, and I practice the load 12 drill, but I don't shoot it that often because it takes up a lot of shots. So this is what I practice over and over and over. And when I'm not able to go out and shoot, I practice these other things like reloading from the belt, which I can do at home in the garage. So I hope these tips help. I hope that if you're on a budget and you're time constrained like me, that you can find the time to get out and practice your shotgun, and hopefully these tips help you become more successful with your shotgun and your 3-gun shooting. So once again, this was just another quick vlog. This is Mac. I hope that when you see me do these videos, that I hope that I can help you improve your game, because I'm constantly striving to improve mine. And shotgun is one area that if you can just make a little bit of an improvement, it'll make a huge difference in your times. So thanks again for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please click that like button for me. Give me that thumbs up. And as always, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. We'll catch you next time with another tip about 3-gun shooting. Thanks. See you later.